Butterbeer, the magic beverage created by J.K. Rowling and loved by witches and wizards of Hogwarts when visiting the Hogsmeade village. Right? Well, not exactly. Butterbeer was popularized by the Harry Potter universe, but the original recipe dates back to at least the 16th century. I'll make the original first, then I'll show you my take on this fan favorite from the wizarding world of Harry Potter. In the process, I'll show you how to make spiced butter syrup, butterscotch foam, and end up with a butterbeer that even Madame Rosmerta from the Three Broomsticks would be proud of. It's cocktail time. J.K. Rowling has mentioned that she made up what a butterbeer would taste like, but there's a historical reference dating all the way back to the Tudor period in England. A 1588 edition of The Good Housewives, Handmade for the Kitchen, has a recipe for the buttered beer. With 3 pints of beer, it makes a pretty big batch, but all the ingredients are well laid out. Speaking of, here's what you'll need. 3 bottles of strong beer, as English ales were in those days. 5 egg yolks, 200 grams of sugar, I'm using Demerara. Half a teaspoon of ground nutmeg and cloves, 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, and of course butter, 100 grams of unsalted butter. Take 5 egg yolks and beat them with the sugar until light and frothy. Set aside while you add your beer into a saucepan and place over medium heat. Stir in the spices, nutmeg, cloves, and ginger. Bring the mixture to a boil, then turn down to low and simmer for 2 minutes. If you want to make this a non-alcoholic butterbeer, most recipes will tell you to boil for over 12 minutes. I'd say a better alternative is a good quality non-alcoholic IPA, and just follow this recipe. Remove the pot from the heat and stir in the egg and sugar mixture. Return to the heat, stirring constantly, until the liquid starts to thicken slightly. Be careful not to let the saucepan get too hot, or the eggs will scramble. After 2 minutes, remove the pan from the heat and whisk in the butter until it melts, then froth the butterbeer with a hand whisk. Or you can also follow the original Tudor recipe advice and pour the butterbeer from one jug to another to froth it up. Once it's nice and frothy, serve in the oldest beer jug you can find. This one is perfect. And that's the original buttered beer. Let's give it a taste. Cheers! It's a hearty sip for sure, but the spices and sugar still make it somewhat pleasant. I imagine this would be a perfect drink for a weary traveler after a long, rainy day of riding through the English countryside. Not bad for something that's over 400 years old. Now let's see how we can make this into a modern version. Here's what you'll use. I'm making a smaller batch this time, so just a bit more than 1 bottle of IPA beer, some spiced butter syrup, 3 egg yolks, saline solution, and to top it off, butterscotch foam, and some nutmeg. To start, I'll first show you how to make the butter syrup and this delicious butterscotch foam. For the spiced butter syrup, you'll of course need water, sugar, butter, and something to keep the butter emulsified. I'm using gum arabic and xanthan gum. This recipe is based on Dave Arnold's Liquid Intelligence, but I'm adding a few extra spices, cloves, nutmeg, allspice, and saline cinnamon. Bring water to a boil, and in the meantime, crush the spices with a mortar and pestle. This will release more of their aromas. Add to the water, cover, and let it infuse for 5 minutes. Then filter out the spices and measure 200 grams of our infused water. Add in our emulsifiers and blend. Dave Arnold uses an emulsifier called Ticaloid 210S, which is basically just a combination of powdered gum arabic and xanthan gum in a 9:1 ratio, the same as what we are using. Once they are fully dissolved, add in 150 grams of melted butter, constantly mixing with an immersion blender. Lastly, stir in the sugar until it's fully dissolved. If the mixture isn't hot enough anymore, you can blend that in as well. With that, our spiced butter syrup is done. If you see minor separation, just give it a quick shake and it will be in solution again. This can be stored at room temperature if you're using it the same day, or in the fridge for several days. Moving on to the crown of our cocktail, the butterscotch foam. You'll need butter, brown sugar, salt, heavy cream, vanilla extract, and some scotch. But let's start with melting the butter in a saucepan over medium heat. Then add the sugar, salt, and heavy cream and stir the mixture with a rubber spatula until it's well blended. Bring the mixture to a boil, scraping down the sides constantly, and boil it for 4 to 5 minutes. And stir in the vanilla extract and the scotch. The original recipe doesn't use any alcohol, despite the name, but it's a great addition. Once we have our butterscotch sauce, we'll mix it with water and egg whites, then foam it up in a cream whipper. We won't use all of the butterscotch sauce for the foam, so you'll be able to top your desserts with this delicious cream. Let it cool slightly, and in the meantime, separate 3 eggs. We'll need the egg yolks for the butterbeer, so using the egg whites as a foaming agent is a less wasteful option, which is something we're always going for. Gelatin would be my other option, as I've done in the past with other foams. So combine the egg whites with 2 ounces or 60 ml of our butterscotch sauce, and 4 ounces or 120 ml of water. Whisk up to combine. I'm using a milk frother. Then strain everything into a chilled easy siphon through a fine mesh strainer. Charge it with a cream charger. Shake to help it froth up. Then place it in the fridge to chill. With that, you have all the ingredients and we are ready to make the elevated butterbeer. Same as before, add everything to a pot, starting with 20 ounces or 600 ml of beer. I'm using an India Pale Ale. Which became widespread in England by 1815, notably as an export beer shipped to India and elsewhere. Follow that with 9 ounces or 270 ml of our spiced butter syrup. Another cocktail you can make with this is Dave Arnold's cold buttered rum, found in Liquid Intelligence. Add in the egg yolks and 10 drops of saline solution and place on medium heat. Slowly bring up to a simmer while whisking constantly. In the process, you'll get a creamy mixture, which should foam up slightly. Again, we don't want to cook the eggs, so once you see it simmer, take it off the heat and pour it in the mug of choice. To give it a rich frothy head, top it off with our butterscotch foam. And lastly, a sprinkle of grated nutmeg. Beautiful. From Diagonally to the Hogshead, I think this butterbeer will be unlike any other out there. Let's give it a try. Cheers! The grated nutmeg and butterscotch hit your nose first, and you know you can expect something rich and decadent. As the cold foam and hot butterbeer mix in your mouth, you get a creamy, buttery harmony of flavors that are perfectly spiced, sweet, and hoppy. Probably not suitable for Hogwarts students, but perfect for grown-up Muggles watching a Harry Potter movie. This is similar but still very different from Chateau, the hot wine, eggs, and sugar cocktail I learned from my grandma, but both really hit the spot on a cold winter day. So try the unusual combination of beer and butter and let me know how you like it. Cheers, friends of cocktails!